The nation is on edge tonight. Julius Malema, the firebrand leader of the economic freedom fighters, has been found guilty in a case that has shaken South African politics to its core. The courtroom fell silent as the verdict was read, guilty on all major counts, including the unlawful possession of a firearm, unlawful possession of ammunition, and discharging a firearm in a public place. For a man who built his reputation on defiance, this moment marked one of the biggest tests of his political life. The conviction stems from an incident that dates back to 2018, the EFF's 5th anniversary celebration in Mdantsane, East London. Before a roaring crowd, cameras captured Malema raising what appeared to be an automatic rifle and firing into the air. The crowd erupted, chanting his name. But what looked like a symbolic act of power to supporters became a criminal offense in the eyes of the law. That moment, replayed millions of times online, has now come back to haunt him. Legal experts say the charges carry heavy consequences. Depending on sentencing, Malema could face fines or even prison time. But beyond the courtroom, the impact of this ruling reaches deep into the heart of South African politics. The man who once promised to shake the system now finds himself standing trial before it. Malema's team has already announced plans to appeal. They insist the process was politically motivated, a calculated effort to weaken a revolutionary voice ahead of a crucial political season. This verdict will not silence us, one EFF spokesperson declared outside the court. But for the first time in a decade, the Red Berets movement seems uncertain about what comes next. Inside the EFF, anxiety is growing. The party's entire identity has been shaped around Malema's charisma and leadership. He is not just their commander-in-chief. He is their brand, their voice, their defiance. Without him at the forefront, the question is simple yet haunting. Can the EFF survive without Julius Malema? The EFF's rise since 2013 has been meteoric. What began as a breakaway faction from the ANC Youth League became the country's third-largest political force. With bold slogans like "Land or Death," the EFF captured the imagination of millions of frustrated young South Africans. Malema became the face of resistance, unfiltered, unapologetic, and fearless. But with this conviction, that revolutionary image has collided head-on with the rule of law. The timing couldn't be worse. The EFF has already been rocked by internal splits and the departure of senior figures, including Floyd Shivambu, who recently defected to Jacob Zuma's MK party. Political analysts warn that Malema's legal troubles could deepen those cracks, opening the door for rivals to poach disillusioned members and voters. On social media, emotions are raw. The hashtag #HandsOffMalema is trending again, echoing through timelines filled with anger and disbelief. Supporters insist the judgment is part of a broader campaign to destroy Black radical leadership. One viral post read, "When you fight for the poor in this country, they make sure to destroy you, one charge at a time." Yet, critics argue that Malema has no one to blame but himself. The opposition Democratic Alliance has called for his immediate resignation, claiming that a convicted criminal cannot lead a political party. Others have pointed to the EFF's own calls for accountability in government, arguing that the same principle must now apply to its own leader. Meanwhile, the ANC's response has been measured but pointed. In a press statement, they emphasized the importance of respecting the courts, saying, "This verdict demonstrates that no one is above the law." For a party long accused of shielding its own leaders from justice, the irony was not lost on observers. Malema's lawyers have already hinted that the sentencing phase could become another political battleground. The EFF plans to mobilize supporters for mass demonstrations on the day of sentencing, which could take place early next year. If they think we will sit quietly while our leader is punished for speaking truth to power, they are mistaken, one EFF member warned. The stakes are massive. If Malema receives a prison sentence of more than 12 months without the option of a fine, he could lose his seat in parliament and be barred from public office. That scenario would not only end his parliamentary career, but also create a leadership vacuum within the EFF that could tear the movement apart. Still, Malema remains defiant. In a fiery statement after court, he told supporters, "We are not scared of prison. We are not scared to die for the revolution." The crowd responded with chants of Amanla and Viva the CIC. For his followers, his defiance only cements his image as a martyr for justice. But others see danger ahead. Analysts warn that if Malema frames this as a political persecution and mobilizes street protests, the situation could escalate quickly. South Africa is sitting on a powder keg, one political analyst said. A misstep here could ignite tensions that spread far beyond the courtroom. Did you expect this verdict? Did you ever imagine that one of South Africa's most powerful opposition leaders would stand convicted in a criminal court? Beyond politics, this story speaks to something deeper, the struggle between accountability and power. For years, Julius Malema has positioned himself as the voice of the voiceless. Now he faces the very institutions he spent his career challenging. It's a test not just of one man, but of the strength and fairness of South Africa's democracy. Supporters continue to rally behind him, calling the verdict a political ambush. Some have gone further, accusing Western-funded NGOs and white monopoly capital of influencing the judiciary to weaken radical black movements. Whether those claims hold any truth or not, they reveal just how divided the nation has become. Meanwhile, ordinary South Africans are left wondering what this means for the country's future. Will this verdict bring accountability and justice, or deepen the political chaos already gripping the nation? As the sentencing date approaches, the tension grows. The EFF is preparing for what they call a historic resistance. Malema has vowed to fight all the way to the Constitutional Court if necessary. "We will appeal until the last drop of ink," he declared. The revolution cannot be silenced. How would your community respond if a political leader they admired faced prison time? Do you believe the courts acted fairly, or was this a political move disguised as justice? For now, the Red Berets movement stands at a crossroads, torn between faith in their leader and the harsh reality of the law. Whether this moment becomes a downfall or a rebirth will depend on what happens next. The world is watching. South Africa is watching. And Julius Malema, once the symbol of defiance, now faces the defining battle of his life. If you believe this story matters, like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more real-life stories shaping South Africa today. Because whether you love or hate Julius Malema, this verdict has changed everything.